Hey everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and I'm back with another review. And finally, today, we're taking a look at from the Wave 1 War for Cybertron Siege line. These are the Wave 1 Deluxes, and we're starting off with Sideswipe. Sideswipe is an incredibly good-looking figure. I've actually compared it to being a affordable version of the Masterpiece figure. This is much closer to that classic G1 look than the original Classics toy, which borrowed more from the Alternator's design. But yeah, now the gimmick for the Siege line is something called the combat system. And basically what it is, as I've mentioned in the review of the Micromasters and Battle Masters, is the Transformers come with these modular weapons. And there are pegs and, hole ports all over the bodies. Actually, the Deluxes seem to have the same position. You'll have 2 on each arm, 2 on each leg, both feet, and a hole in the backpack. Now, Sideswipe comes with 2 weapons, a little mortar cannon and a little blaster, which you can combine like this. And then the mortar launcher has a slot, a tab that can go into a slot over the shoulder. This is a little disappointing because obviously this is meant to replicate his classic shoulder cannon, but then he doesn't have a handgun. So you're then meant to just have this on the shoulder and him holding this. But again, the full launcher really looks like this. So it would have been nice if they included something a little bit longer or additional for him to hold. But, between the Micromasters and the Battle Masters, you get plenty of handheld weapons. Other than that, the battle damage is really left to right here on his shins and a little bit on his codpiece. So we'll pause and we'll get into transformation. Okay, now transformation, we're going to try a little something different. Instead of doing the step as I'm telling you what to do, I'm going to explain what I'm going to do first and then do it. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to focus on the torso of Sideswipe. And we're going to go, first we're going to start, you're going to bend the arms 90 degrees, flip the fists in, and then proceed to rotate them out 90 degrees from the shoulders. The instructions don't tell you to do that, but it gives you a little bit more room. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's rotate that up like so, like that. Bring it out, and there we go. So next step is going to be, we're going to detach the torso from the codpiece here and then flip it up over the head and tab it into place. Now, I should mention, some people have mentioned they've had a very loose connection there. I don't know how tight mine is, but it's not flopping around. But then again, I'm also very gentle with my figures. So after we flip it up, we're then just going to flip that cod piece down and it will cover the face. So here we go. Just like that. And then flip it down, just like so. The next, what you're going to do is, you see these side panels here. We're going to rotate them out all the way. Bring the arms back down so they're parallel with the body, and then fold them in on these joints. Just bring them in, just like that. And now the torso of the figure is done. We're going to adjust the camera ever so slightly and focus on what will be the legs. First step is going to be opening these shin panels here, sticking our fingers in and pushing up the rear panels for the back of the leg, top of the car, and then flipping the feet up. On mine, these do peg in quite nicely, which I'm happy about. So let's go ahead, push those up. You can use your thumb, use your finger. And then we're going to flip the feet up. Now, I do want to show you something. When going back into robot mode, what most people do is they bend the knees back, and this will push that plate down, and that will also help push out the foot, making it a little easier to flip out. So let me just redo this since we're going into vehicle mode. Next step is we're going to bring the legs together. There's a little hook and latch there. Rotate the lower torso at the waist, and then flip everything over at the knees. So there we go. There we go. This one will just flip over, get everything in, sandwich it all together. And then the final steps will be closing the shin panels here, covering the legs, and then bringing these side panels down. They'll tab into slots on the inside of the elbow. Or actually, it'll be the outside of the elbow. And just make sure we got everything lined up. And there we have Sideswipe in its Cybertronian Lamborghini mode. This looks really cool. This actually looks like a Lamborghini I would want to buy and then say no once I see the price. Obviously, weapon storage is at wherever you want to put it. You know, do whatever. Add, you know, your Micro Masters and Battle Masters. One thing I do want to mention is you might have noticed right here on the hood, or what would be the chest of robot mode, there is a little peg for one of the blast effects. On my version of Sideswipe, that's just a little too small, and I haven't been able to get anything to peg on. It's a little bit of a shame, but to be honest, the blast effects really look like there would be something shooting out of his breast or nipple or something, and that's just a bit much. So we'll pause, and I'll give you my final thoughts. As you can see, I've decided to pair Sideswipe with the race car patrol team, and you also might notice that the two figures, Swindler and Roadhugger, are actually reversed. I found out that the red car does have a waist joint, and you can actually, in having a waist joint, you can actually rotate the positioning of the cars. And believe it or not, having the red car on top, again, Roadhugger, it actually works a little bit better than having a Swindler on top, namely because of the issues I have pegging Swindler's legs together. I think Sideswipe is a fantastic figure. I really like the transformation. It's intuitive, involved, but simple. You know, it has that classic G1 look. And I gotta say, if you're going to buy one Autobot from Wave 1, I hate to say it, but I think Sideswipe is the best. And the reason I say I hate to say that is that Sideswipe has been featured on all the packaging for the Battle Masters, the Micro Masters, the Weaponizer cog, and all that stuff. So he's basically the poster child of this line. But as we go along, I'll explain to you why I think, you know, if you're really looking for something that works better with all these little different options, you might want to look elsewhere in terms of, and maybe get Hound. But definitely, if you want a solid pick, that's a good transformation, not that finicky, and works with everything, Sideswipe's your bet. So, this is your old pal Chuck for Sideswipe. We will see you next time.